Hello everybody, welcome to Equals and Alternatives, episode number 20. I'm your host Mike Vacanti, and today we are reviewing Van's gluten-free blueberry freshly toasted waffle up against the Eggo's traditional throwback to our childhood or present maybe blueberry waffle. Let's try them both. I made a little bit of a mess here. The butter got a little melted. The butter isn't actually on here, and the syrup is not included in the macros, so what you see on the board is just for 2 Van's waffles versus 2 Eggo waffles, all right? The reason, yeah, not bad. Tastes like a waffle. The reason we are reviewing this gluten-free waffle is because though most of you probably know that because a product is gluten-free does not impact weight gain or weight loss, there is a decent percentage of the population who has certain buzzwords that they view as healthy, which they equate with a better body or leaner or stronger, or probably actually words like toned or something along those lines. And gluten-free is one of those. Whereas in reality, whether or not a product does or does not contain gluten doesn't impact scale weight or lean body mass or strength or any of those things, as we know. It's better. It's better, guys. I wouldn't lie to you, but it's better. Now, you'll notice gluten-free isn't on the shit that matters. That is for 80 or 85 or 90% of the population. I'm not sure. For individuals who have celiac disease, you should not consume gluten. And you know that if you're watching this. You should know if you have celiac if you're watching. It is an immune disease, I believe, is what it would be classified under as a medical term, which you either do or do not have. And you can figure this out by going to your doctor, and I think it's through blood work and a biopsy of the small intestine. I'm not 1,000% sure, but like 98% sure. If you don't have celiac, can you react poorly to gluten? Yeah, absolutely. You could have a gluten intolerance, which could be determined, or you could figure that out by keeping a food journal. If you have like extreme diarrhea or bloating or just don't feel good after eating gluten, you may have a gluten intolerance, and you should sorry, I'm saying avoid and like pointing this way, but you should eat this over a product that has gluten. You could also be allergic to something. I think there's actually debate among some of the top people in the medical field as to whether or not you can actually technically have a gluten allergy, but you can be allergic to things, to like certain compounds that are also found in foods that contain gluten. So if you are in that group, celiac, intolerance, allergy, definitely go with this. Taste is actually, you know, I think this is better, but it's close. You're still getting a waffle. However, if your sole goal is to lose weight, lose body fat, you don't need to be eating gluten-free, okay? So that's it. No knock on it, but you just really don't have to. Taste. Like, the Eggo waffle's been around for a long time, and there's a reason, and it's because it's really, really good. I'm gonna have some more here. The peanut butter and butter are on the screen because it doesn't last very long though. It's already getting hard. Because this is how I used to make my waffles up as a kid. Put a little peanut butter on there, syrup on top. Outstanding. Let's get into the alternative. I'm assuming that if you're making a toaster waffle that you have time to spend an extra 3 minutes cooking breakfast. Here we have a pretty gross looking omelet because it was made 4 hours ago and then put in a fridge, but a spray of Pam, so non-stick, no calories, 2 whole eggs, 4 egg whites where I separated out the white from the yolk, and an egg white has about 3.5 grams of protein, no carbs, no fat. The egg yolk, or the whole egg, I should say, together has 6-ish grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. So that's where our 10 fat is coming from, the 2 yolks. There are also about half of a red pepper chopped up in here. It's really like you have the time, it just doesn't make sense to me to have a no protein meal. You could honestly pair this up with this, or with this, or with some other carb source, but it really doesn't make sense to, very often at least, have a meal with 0 protein in it, or 2 grams or 4 grams or whatever. All right, that's all I have to say on this. Gluten-free, if you have a specific reason to be gluten-free, be gluten-free. If you want to try it just because it sounds fun, great, do it. But don't push it onto other people, and don't like prance around with this arrogance that you who don't have a specific reason not to be eating gluten-free are doing so, okay? And I think it's important to make a note that, or at least be empathetic towards the people who have a specific reason to be gluten-free. I'm lucky in that I have eggshell in my mouth. I don't know how I botched this. I'm lucky that I don't have to worry about that. I'm lucky that I don't have an intolerance or a disease that prevents me from eating gluten, and that I don't have to limit my diet in such a way. So part of me, though I'm upset at like the uppity up mentality of eating gluten-free for no specific reason, I'm equally as feel for the group of people, the percent of the population that needs to avoid quite a few foods because otherwise they're just going to feel terrible. All right, that's it. We got people overtaking the room here. Question of the day, how do you make your waffles? How do you make them? Peanut butter? What do you like to put on there? I don't know. Remember, your body's still counting macros, even if you are not.